Welcome back, everyone, to Nation of Glory, the channel where we bring you the stories that inspire hearts, celebrate strength, and remind us that greatness is born not in comfort, but in the fire of struggle and courage. Today, we're diving into the incredible life of a woman whose name roars with power, whose eyes carry rebellion, and whose journey is nothing short of a Hollywood battle cry. Her name is Michelle Rodriguez, the fearless soul behind the tough characters we've all cheered for, the fighter who turned her pain into power, and the woman who never let the world define her limits. Michelle Rodriguez wasn't born into fame, luxury, or the easy path. She was born on July 12, 1978, in San Antonio, Texas, to a Dominican mother and a Puerto Rican father. Her childhood was not the kind filled with comfort and calm. It was restless, scattered, and often difficult. Michelle spent her early years moving from place to place: the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and eventually back to the United States. But every move, every disruption, shaped her into something extraordinary: independent, fiery, and unbreakable. As a teenager, Michelle wasn't exactly the quiet kind. She was bold, opinionated, and constantly challenging authority. Her teachers called her difficult, but maybe what they couldn't see was the storm of creativity inside her. She loved stories, not just the ones in books, but the ones written on the faces of people fighting for something bigger than themselves. She always said she wanted to be somebody who mattered. And that dream was just waiting for its first spark. It came in a place she least expected: an open casting call for a small independent film called Girlfight. At that time, Michelle had no big acting resume, no Hollywood contacts, no formal training, just pure fire and ambition. Thousands of women auditioned for the role of Diana Guzman, a troubled teenage girl who channels her anger into boxing. But when Michelle walked into that audition, something happened. She didn't just act the part, she became Diana. Her energy was raw, authentic, and wild, so much that the director, Karen Kusama, later said Michelle was the character she had written about. The movie Girlfight, released in 2000, changed everything. It wasn't a blockbuster, but it was real. It spoke about pain, identity, strength, and redemption. And it made Michelle Rodriguez a name that the industry couldn't ignore. She won the Independent Spirit Award and the Gotham Award for Best Debut Performance, proving that you don't need $1 million budget to shine, just one chance and the courage to grab it with both hands. After Girlfight, Hollywood came knocking. And Michelle answered with a roar. In 2001, she took on the role of Letty Ortiz in The Fast and the Furious, the tough, loyal, street racing queen who could take down anyone and still steal your heart. That role didn't just make her a star, it made her an icon. Letty wasn't just another female character. She was strength in motion, fierce, confident, and equal to her male counterparts. And for millions of women watching, it was refreshing: finally, someone who showed that power doesn't have to be masculine. It can be feminine and ferocious at the same time. But Michelle's life off-screen was just as intense. Fame brought her opportunities, but it also brought battles. She was never the type to conform to Hollywood's image of perfect. She spoke her truth, often fearlessly, sometimes too fearlessly for the industry's comfort. She once said, "I don't do fashion shows or red carpets just to fit in. I'd rather be real and rough than fake and flawless." And that attitude became her signature. In the years that followed, Michelle starred in movies like Resident Evil 2002, Blue Crush, SWAT, and Battle, Los Angeles. But it was the Fast and Furious franchise that turned her into a global phenomenon. Her chemistry with Vin Diesel was electric, not just on screen, but in friendship. They shared a connection that felt more like family. Vin often calls her his sister in arms, and Michelle has always credited him for believing in her even when others didn't. When her character Letty was seemingly killed off in the series, fans were heartbroken, but so was she. And when Letty made her epic return in Fast and Furious 6, it wasn't just a comeback, it was a celebration of resilience, both for the character and for Michelle herself. But let's talk about what really makes Michelle special. It's not just her roles. It's her spirit. She has always stood for authenticity in an industry full of masks. While many actors chase glamour, Michelle chases truth. She's open about her struggles, her battles with identity, fame, and even loneliness. She once said, "I live fast, love hard, and I don't apologize for it." That sentence alone tells you who she is: a soul that refuses to be caged. Behind the tough exterior lies a woman with deep empathy. She's spoken about how pain shaped her, losing loved ones, facing rejection, and sometimes even losing herself along the way. But every time life hit her, she came back harder, stronger, wiser. That's why her characters feel real, because they come from a place of truth. She doesn't play roles, she lives them. Outside of acting, Michelle is passionate about causes that matter. She advocates for equality, animal rights, and environmental protection. She believes that being an artist comes with responsibility, not just to entertain, but to inspire change. Her love for nature is deeply personal. She often escapes the Hollywood chaos to travel, explore, and reconnect with the earth. She once said, "The world is too big to stay in one place, and life is too short to do one thing." That sense of adventure is what keeps her alive both on screen and in spirit. In 2009, tragedy struck when her Fast and Furious co-star and close friend Paul Walker passed away. The loss shattered the entire cast, but for Michelle, it was deeply personal. She took time away from the spotlight, struggling to process the pain. Later, in interviews, she revealed that she went through a dark phase trying to fill the void that Paul's death left behind. But eventually, she found strength again through self-discovery, through travel, and through remembering why she started in the first place. She realized that life's fragility is exactly why we must live boldly, love deeply, and forgive quickly. In recent years, Michelle has continued to redefine what it means to be a strong woman in Hollywood. She refuses to accept one-dimensional roles and constantly pushes for better representation. She even turned down certain scripts because they didn't honor the kind of women she believes in: complex, real, and unapologetic. That's Michelle Rodríguez, fearless enough to say no when the world expects her to say yes. And her impact? It's massive. She inspired a whole generation of actresses to embrace toughness without losing their soul. From Girlfight to Fast X, her journey has become a masterclass in resilience, proving that real strength doesn't come from muscles or fame, but from staying true to your fire, even when the world tries to dim it. Every time she appears on screen, whether she's behind the wheel of a muscle car or standing tall in a war zone, there's something magnetic about her. It's not just acting. It's energy. You feel it. That wild, unstoppable, beautifully human energy that says, "I've been broken, but I'm still here, stronger than ever." And maybe that's why people love her. Because in a world obsessed with perfection, Michelle Rodríguez reminds us that imperfection is where real beauty lives. That you can be fierce, emotional, loyal, stubborn, broken, and still whole. That you don't have to be what they expect, you just have to be you. From a girl who grew up moving across islands to one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, Michelle's journey is proof that destiny isn't written by birth or background, it's written by belief. She believed she could be more, and she became a symbol of more. So, to everyone listening, if life ever tells you that you're too rough, too emotional, or too real, remember Michelle Rodríguez. The girl who boxed her way out of pain, raced through obstacles, and carved her name in history, not by pretending to be someone else, but by daring to be herself. And that is her glory. Thank you for watching this story of fire, faith, and fearlessness only on Nation of Glory. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because more powerful journeys are on the way. Until next time, stay inspired, stay strong, and remember, every struggle hides a spark of greatness waiting to rise.